I have an idea, and I think this is going to revolutionize my year of stash. So hear me out, hear me out. So I'm doing the year stash 2025, and the goal is to use up as much of my yarn stash as I possibly can this year, so I can justify buying another closet for whatever I have left. See that tower over there? That's all moving boxes, badly covered with a tablecloth. Yeah, not all filled with yarn, not all, but there's also more over here and over here, and well, in that closet, so it's fine. And there's also 3 big boxes or 3 big bags under the bed. So yeah, but my idea, so I have a lot of sock yarn. Sock yarn is very thin. I would like to make more bulky items, but I don't have that much bulky yarn because I never really liked bulky yarn in that it's usually like this, it's usually roving or some kind of unspun yarn, which is great for felting and, you know, great for a variety of projects. But it just, yeah, I can't get over the fact that if I don't want to felt it, then it will just pill really easily, really quickly. So what can I do so that I can use up thinner yarn quicker and being able to knit it in bulky style? Well, enter my very first knitting machine that I owned, which is an I-cord knitting machine, and it's by Fuss Up. They also make like actual big knitting machines. And look at the little mouse, and you can see that a ball of yarn is being turned into I-cord here. I got it for €2 a couple of years ago, and it's very cute. And so it looks like this. So you have your needles at the top and a yarn tension unit, and you turn it, and that will make your I-cord. So it's much easier than the regular French knitting dolls, which I have over here. So this is a knitting doll, French knitting doll, and you basically have a crochet hook with which you turn the loops over the latches, and yeah, so that's how it works. And they have some very interesting ideas on the booklet here. So an egg hat, and a carriage tool for your teddy bear, a mouse, like some actual pillows made here, slippers, hat. Yeah, so I don't think I'm gonna make any of that, although I have seen an idea for a rug, which I'm very excited about. But what I mainly want to do is I want to make bulky yarn that I can use to perhaps knit a cushion cover with, or perhaps finally make a bath mat, or, you know, there's tons of ideas. You can make a really bulky cardigan, but I'm not going to commit to that idea yet because I don't know how fast it will be, how feasible it will actually be to make large amounts of I-cord knit yarn with this thing. So the way you set it up, you thread your yarn from top to bottom through and then hold it so it doesn't fall back out. So from top to bottom through, and I actually have a weight with this, but I left it in the other room. And then you want to thread it through the eyelets here. It's kind of like a yarn winder setup. So you thread it through there. It has 4 needles, and to start you want to catch it on the first needle and on the third one. So you want to skip 2 needles. Come on. Oh, maybe I'm doing it the wrong way. So catch it on the first one, and then catch it on the third one. Miss out on the second and fourth one, and then you can continue turning it. Oh, it already dropped. I should probably put the weight on. So this is the weight that comes with it. It has a little hook attached, and I am going to do a double knot around it. So I'm making a knot, putting the hook through, pulling the knot tight, and then doing another one because that single one won't hold it. So then you have it like that. The key with any kind of knitting machine is weights. And often if you're dropping a stitch, or if you have any kind of difficulty with your machine, it will often be due to weights, like not enough weights, or the weights are slanted or whatever. So first one, second, okay, so just doing the first, and then you keep turning and they kind of knit themselves. Okay, so you get the idea. Now let's go make some yarn with it. Okay, so it's a couple days later and I finally knit a 100-gram ball into I-cord. And yeah, they turned into several smaller balls, so probably about 25-gram each, because the longer it gets, kind of the more twisted it gets at the bottom, because you're twisting the I-cord machine, so this is twisting as well, and the longer it gets, the more difficult it is for it to stay untangled. And yeah, just by the time I got to, well, approximately 25 grams, it would keep dropping stitches, and it would just, I don't know, probably because I was messing with the I-cord part, like lifting it up. And if you lift it up, you take weight off of the needles. And remember when I said that if you run into issues with any kind of knitting machine, that's usually due to there not being enough weight, or that the weight is on wrong. And if you lift up the I-cord, then it can lift up off the needles and cause stitches to drop. So after a while, it just got so tedious, and I just cut it off and started a new one. So that's how I ended up with 4 of these. And you know I am a patient person, so this wasn't a matter of me just, dropping one stitch, rage quitting, throwing the thing in the corner of the room. No, I I have a lot of patience, but this thing just, yeah, I don't know if I have more patience to do another 100-gram ball. I might just, maybe I'll try a little bit thicker yarn, or I might have to try, where I have a longer drop, so maybe I hang out of the window. so I can knit longer while it untwists. And it's one of those things that will not make sense if you've not tried one of these things yourself yet. So I have several smaller balls. So before I think of what to make with it, I want to see what it knits up as, and I'm not quite sure which needle size to use. I have a 10mm and I have 8mm. I don't think I need to go any smaller than that, so I'll just give it a go with 10mm first to see what it's like, just to get an idea of the gauge we have. What's this? Oh, this is where I fixed a dropped stitch. If you don't notice it right away, if you drop a stitch, then the machine will just continue knitting, and it will cast on another stitch, but then you'll have a gap. So I noticed it afterwards, and I can just cut these now, but I left them in so that I could show you. Okay, so it's feeling a little loose. It might give me a really nice fabric. But I do want this ideally to be a cushion cover. So ideally I want it to be a little bit tighter. Pretty nice so far. Alright, so I've knit a little bit on 10mm needles. And it looks quite nice, but it's also very stretchy. But this is the kind of fabric that I would want if I was making a garment or something. Just something loose and airy. And then I made a little swatch on 8mm needles, and it is more tight, and yeah, it's just a little squished, which, you know, obviously it's knit on a tighter needle. So I think I do still like this. I like this one more, but yeah, because I feel like you can see the individual stitches here and that they're a bit less, just not so easy to spot, which also might be because of the variegation in the yarn. I think if it was a solid yarn that it would look better here. Don't really know how to explain that, but I'll give it a go with solid colored yarn as well. So I might have to leave this yarn for now because I think I want to make a garment with it, but is that too crazy? Maybe, because by knitting this, I've almost used up that little ball, and this has pretty much used up that. So this is about half of what I can knit with 100 grams. So I have to think about this. But I do think it's fun. I just have to mull it over a little bit longer while I figure out what to do with this and how to make more if this takes such a long time. So to be continued, because I could definitely knit a pot holder with these. Just, I don't want to make only pot holders this year. I don't want that to be my only solution for using up yarn. So to be continued. If you've any ideas, leave them down below. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thank you so much for watching until now, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.